Just in terms of the injury updates, Jeremy McGovern, do you expect him to be right for Sunday?
Yeah, he trained today, so trained without any assistance. So he got through. So he's more likely than unlikely. But we'll see how he goes at captain's run on Saturday. And if he gets through that, then I think he might be right to play.
Earlier in the week, Simo, in training, he was hesitant just to punch the ball. Is that the next stage for him, the captain's run, or has he already done that?
No, it's a bit of all that. Yeah, he, like I said, he's been reluctant to do that since he hurt himself. But I think if he has to do it, he can. He's just been avoiding it. So whether that's captain's run during the game next week, it's just something he's got to carry for a little bit, and he's got to see how it pulls up from today and make a call after the cap. I mean, the way we do it these days, the team doesn't need to be picked till the day before the game, so we'll wait till then. But he got through today; he didn't go backwards, so he's where we thought he'd be.
And Liam Ryan, where's he at? Is there major concern, hamstring or soreness?
Not a concern, but not major. Nothing came back on the scan, and he ran today. He didn't train, but he ran. He got over 30k an hour, and he's running, so he sort of ticked that off. So once again, he'll be another one that we'll get to captain's run and see how he's going, and make a decision then. But both of those guys had a positive day, and for this time of week, we're quite buoyant about it. But that doesn't mean it's a lock.
Edwards, how's he tracking along, and does he get a look in for the weekend?
Yeah, he's passed his cog state test. So once again, he had a good day. But whether we take a young half gamer in or quarter player in after concussion, we'll make that decision by the end of the week. That bit depends probably on Gov, to be honest, and how he is as well. So yeah, we haven't sat down with the docs yet and gone through exactly what his plan should be. But he's feeling a lot better, and he's passed all his tests now. So it's just about confidence and how he fronts up at the end of the week.
Adam, does the compressed nature of what lies ahead of you at some point influence the way you'll go with anyone who's in any doubt this week?
No, not this week. We've got 3 weeks in front of us that are reasonably clean in terms of the times between games. So I think we're playing the GWS after we play Hawthorn, and then who knows where we're going to go. So hopefully we're staying here. So we can't plan for what we don't know at the moment. So we know the next three opponents, and we know that they're at home, and there's a reasonable break between each game. So we're not in that phase of managing or looking to manage players. Even training's probably we're training as hard and as well as I've seen us train, and hopefully that sets us up for when we do get a compressed look that we've banked a bit of work. So at the moment we're not doing anything different to prepare ourselves for what might come.
So we saw Geelong last night sort of manage the position of Paddy Dangerfield. You wouldn't be looking to do anything like that to make sure you take a fresh group of players in to when you start getting games very rapidly?
Oh, they did that because they come off a 4-day break. So we'll look at that when we come off a 4-day break ourselves. We've got an 8-day break, so I don't think playing Elliot Yeo out of the goal square this week, he doesn't need that. But that might be something we look at going forward. I think they did a really good job. I mean, it was a pretty tough game on Sunday against the Cats, and they play like that every week. So they've backed it up once again. So yeah, we'll look at that when we need to. But at the moment, we'll play our players on their merits and on their positions, and we won't be managing anyone at the moment. But that's not to say that won't change in 3 weeks. And in fact, I'm pretty sure it will. But we'll plan for it, but we just can't at the moment because we don't know the fixture.
Simo, you've got a very tall team. A lot of rain is forecast for Sunday's game against Carlton. Does that come into any calculations, just the exact makeup of the team?
No, I don't think so. Obviously, the radar looks pretty wet. We've got reasonable size, but they're pretty well equipped in the wet, we think, and we're probably talking 1 or 2 players that they're not exactly 200 centimetre type players. I mean, Oscar Allen's our second ruck, and he's a third tall forward for us, and Jakey Waterman's 191, so they're more utilities than talls. No doubt they've been good for us in the last 2 or 3 weeks, but we think we've got enough balance to get it done in the wet. But we'll wait and see on the day. There's out of all the time you do make late changes that aren't through injuries, it's probably on weather that looks like coming this week. So we'll make a decision on the day. But at the moment, I think we'll just back in what we've got.
In terms of Mark
Hutchings.
Is he one that comes in calculations? Is he pressing and is he fit enough to potentially come in and do a job on someone like Patrick Cripps?
This is the first week he's actually been available to our side. So he trained with the main group today. I don't think he'll come in this week. I mean, we've got to squeeze someone out for him to come in. And Jack Redden's available as well. So we'll work through that. But now he's part of the mix. He's done enough training to become available. Unfortunately, we just don't have practice matches to get some form and some run and contests in. So I think we've got a scrimmage against the Blues this week, but it'll be 14 on 14 or something that's, it's better than nothing, but it's hard to get true form from those games, which is really unfortunate for some of these guys who probably should be knocking on the door from a waffle point of view. We're just missing that, but every club's the same, and sometimes you just got to take a punt on some of these players like we did with Harry Edwards last week.
Adam, where is Jermaine Jones at? And can you just give us an update on how you're sort of seeing Jared Cameron's role on the side? Just looking at his time on ground, it looks lowish, but are you happy with his output and what he's delivered since he got back?
Yeah, Jones just had another little niggle with his hamstring the other day, so we're just working through what that looks like. It's sort of a reoccurrence of another reoccurrence. So, but they're not major, so we're just trying to look into what's related, whether it's back related or what's going on there. So we're looking at that. But he'll be unavailable for a couple of weeks, I would imagine. And Camo, look, he's playing a role for us. We've got a lot of role-driven positions in our side, and he does a lot of things off the ball that we ask him to do. So sometimes you look at his stats or his inability to hit the scoreboard and question whether he's doing everything he can. But he's trying. He's still building towards his best form, but he's doing the little things that matter for us, and he's part of a pretty good forward line. So at the moment, we're working through some of his form issues, but he's playing his role at the moment.
If Ryan does miss Simo, who are the likely options, considering you just said Jermaine Jones has got the niggle of the hammy?
Yeah, well, we're working through that match committee this afternoon. Look, Nick Reed's not far off from debuting from the footy club. Ainsworth played as a half forward a few weeks ago with Redden coming back into the side more than likely. Does that push him forward? So we can move the team around a little bit. Sometimes we played an extra mid in our front half, then rotated a Tim Kelly or a Dom Sheed through that area as well. So we'll wait to see how that goes, and hopefully Liam's okay, and we don't have to worry about it. But it's something that's going to happen at some stage. We're going to have to rotate some of our players. So having a second role in your back pocket's beneficial this year, I'm sure. So we'll worry about that if it happens.
Is the Mark Hutchings role something you're still keen to explore? Obviously, you haven't had him available in the last, since the restart, but
yep.
Is it going to be, how hard is it going to be to manage when he is fit, firing, and fully available when you've, someone he's going to have to push out of that midfield?
Yeah, I think he'll play a role. I don't know how or when, but, he came into the side on a full-time basis halfway through 18 when Gaffey went out of the side, and then Dom was out of the side as well. And when Gaffey went down, we sort of manipulated a few roles and we hit a sweet spot with that tagging player in our side. Tim Kelly's come into the side now. Redo's sort of been playing a bit more wing, so we've got a pretty good balance at the moment. But that's not to say it won't change. So yeah, we're settled at the moment, but that could change really quick. I mean, last week we lost Redo, and we could have lost Elliot Yeo to suspension, and straight away we would have looked at someone like a Hutch or a couple of the other younger players. I think Brayshaw's not too far away, and same with O'Neill. So there's some options there, and Hutch is definitely part of those.
Can you just give us an update as to how Jared Brander's tracking at the moment? Obviously played early and caught that knock to the hip or lower back region. Just where he's at and what he's doing to get back into the side.
Yeah, he went out of the side after Port. We had a bit of a back issue, back seizure, and then we won 5 in a row. So unfortunately, he's been a victim of the team's success, and his form was okay, but probably not one that warranted him to come straight back in. So we needed to see him string some games together. He's been back for a couple of weeks, but I think we've played one game, and that was like 14-aside against the Pies. So he'll get a good look this week, hopefully against Carlton in the scrimmage, and then I think Hawthorn and the Giants were sort of penciled in some time there. So all those guys who are trying to force their way in the side through some form, it's really difficult. So I think the rotation will be on down the track, but at the moment, if we're winning and the guys are playing their role, we're sort of backing in that at the moment. But that's not to say it's not going to change, but that's where he's at.
Adam, Lewis Jetta, where?
Sorry?
Lewis Jetta, whereabouts is he at the moment? Obviously, he's back on track, but what's sort of the go with his fitness, his form, his availability, the whole lot?
Yeah, he's exactly the same as Brander. He went out of the side after the Port game, and he's been working really hard on getting a little fitter, and he's done that. He's ticked that box. He's really committed to. We all know what kind of player he is, and now he's ready. He's ready to play. It's just that the guys who are in the side at the moment are playing their role. So he's in the wings waiting for an opportunity. And once again, he's played one game as well in the last 2 or 3 weeks. So he'll get a chance to play this week, and he's got to bide his time. I'm ready to play him. It's just there's guys in front of him at the moment. So that's the same with Will Schofield as well, and Vardy and Hickey and Hutch. They're all in the same boat. Brander. So the good thing is they're available. The bad thing is for all of us, I can't fit 28 into 22. So that's just the way it is.
Simo, from a big picture perspective, the season obviously had so many changes. You've had rolling fixtures and hubs. How do you think the club and yourself and the players, how are you handling what's happened and what might come next in terms of where this all finishes up?
Yeah, I suppose it's 1 month at a time. We're getting information drip fed to us. We got I think the Giants game was released today, that we've got them in a few weeks. So we've grown up a lot from a leadership point of view, dealing with obstacles. All the clubs really, with what we're used to as an industry and what we've got available to us as a resource has been really diminished. We've gone 28 staff. We're used to having 50. So development of our players, training standards, weights, skin folds, diet, all those things that we used every bit of resource we could within the soft cap now has been reduced. So I think they've adapted really well. We had our flat patch, which I think had just as much to do with the system as we did with our individual players' form that we work through. But that doesn't mean we've got blue skies in front of us. I think every club has gone through ups and downs throughout the year, and whether you put it to the environment or the hubs or the travel, I suppose you do, but regardless of the season, you're always going to have ups and downs. You're not going to have a perfect year. So I feel like we're a bit more resilient than what we were 10 weeks ago. The problem is everyone else is as well.
I reckon you'd obviously prefer to stay in Perth for the rest of the year and play your finals there if you could, and even the grand final if you could, in a perfect world. But there's every chance that doesn't happen. The outlook for the rest of the season, how do you manage all the different possibilities in terms of when you might leave? I mean, you could leave after that Giants game, you might not, but how are you looking at all of that?
Open-minded, really. I mean, at the moment, it looks like everything's heading towards Queensland. I suppose that's just like Victoria was last year and the last 100 years. The home of football is in Queensland, just like it used to be in Victoria. So our interstate travels are there instead of over east. So it doesn't really change too much for us, other than the fact that we'll be in a hub situation if and when that happens. And then the condensed season is the other thing that's probably going to be upon all of us at some stage. It hasn't hit us yet, but we're preparing as best we can for a little bit of the unknown. But, like I said before, we're all in the same boat. And you look, some of the clubs, I think Hawthorn's gone, New South Wales, Queensland, Perth, and then they're going to Adelaide. And that's without going home. So I've said this a couple of times, that the clubs are dealing with different types of adversity that you don't normally deal with on a match day basis. Some clubs are getting up at 5 a.m. to travel, and some clubs are coming from home. So the disparity in that is quite big. But that's okay. We're all in the same boat. We're all going to have a good look sometimes, and sometimes we're going to be under the pump.
I suppose just lastly, from a fairness perspective, in terms of let's say the rest of the season's in Queensland, you have to go there. I mean, it's obviously a huge advantage for Brisbane in their home deck and that sort of thing. It'd be nice for once to have that for WA and for you guys, and obviously for Fremantle as well, wouldn't it?
Oh, well. Yeah, it would be. But look, we've dealt with this for the last 34 years, and whether it's Queensland or Victoria, it doesn't matter. It's to win a flag and to have success and sustain success, you got to win away from home. So we've handled it pretty well in the past, but you got to win away from home to win the Holy Grail. So we're aware of that. We're still trying to qualify for finals, and we're trying to win as many games as we can here. But we know we're going to win away from home at some stage.
Simo, just back on Carlton as well. I mean, what are you expecting from them? How can you win, or where will you lose when you play against them this weekend?
Yeah, they've come a long way in a short period of time, and what will be interesting is the weather. Can we both play our styles with the conditions? And I suspect it's going to be a pretty wet day. They're really good around clearances and contests. I think it really fuels a lot of what they do, and I've heard David talk about it before. So the fact is they'll get some really good field position of some good contested work, and quite often from stoppages, and their ability to keep it in their front half and score is as good as anyone. So they've had some fluctuations with momentum, as all young sides do, but when they're on, they're really, really dangerous. So trying to get the game on our terms will be our focus, and know that there's going to be run-ons definitely at some stage.